So I don't know if you've heard, but there's a new Nintendo out. The Nintendo Switch. Part handheld console, part lounging around the living room console. It sounds good on paper and in principle, but does it work in reality? Well, that sort of remains to be seen, but the early indications are pretty good. Out of the box, the Switch and its Joy-Con controllers have a few different configurations which you can use, including the traditional handheld mode, detaching the Joy-Cons and sticking it on the table in front of you, or plugging it into the dock and playing it on the TV. For the latter, you'll probably want to get hold of a Pro controller. It will set you back a fair bit of cash, but it's worth it to make the experience a bit more familiar to something like an Xbox One or PlayStation 4. That said, you do need to bear in mind that the A and the B buttons and the X and Y buttons are around the opposite way, in true Nintendo fashion, just to confuse you and your muscle memory. So the Switch looks and feels really nice. In handheld mode, everything is well built and put together. The Joy-Cons are a brilliant bit of design, each of them working independently as smaller controllers if that's what you need for the game. But altogether, as a package in handheld mode, it really rivals what Nintendo's already set out with the already excellent Nintendo 3DS. When you switch over to a home console configuration, obviously it invites different comparisons. I mean, the classic Nintendo user interface is there, complete with random sound effects, but it all works pretty well, and you know, that's what you want when you've spent a load of money on a plug in and play sort of a machine. The strength of any console is its games, and the launch lineup for the Switch has been well documented, but let's just say it's not everything that we could have hoped for at this point. In my opinion, the Christmas 2017 games lineup actually is a lot closer to what we might have expected for something like this from Nintendo. Having said that, you can't have everything, and to have Zelda and Mario's launch titles on a new console is probably a little bit too much to hope for. While there's not too many games out now, there's a fair amount in the pipeline, including Splatoon 2 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, only a few weeks or months away. This will seriously boost the Switch's attractiveness for multiplayer gaming, and will hopefully give a reason for Nintendo to be charging for its online service, most of the details of which we're still to hear about. From the moment you turn the console on and hear that familiar Switch sound effect, there's just something difficult to resist about a Nintendo console. The way they put these things together and somehow convince you to love them, but before barely even doing anything, is just incredible, and the Switch is no exception. In many ways, the Switch builds on all of the innovation and technology which has come before it, particularly the Wii and its Wiimotes being compressed down into a cuter form factor, but also some of the elements drawn out in the original reveal stream, which takes us all the way back to the original Nintendo Entertainment System. Power's never been their priority, and you can see that here in terms of how the Switch is put together. Functionality and flexibility are the key to making this console a success. While it's not my job to tell you whether you should buy a console or not, as things stand today, there are certainly reasons to get involved with the Switch, but there's plenty more coming out through the rest of the year which would make it a far more attractive prospect around Christmas time. Are you enjoying the Switch, or are you holding off for a better games lineup, or is it not interesting you at all? Let us know in the comments below, and please subscribe to Pass the Controller on YouTube for lots more, including a upcoming podcast and our review of Zelda Breath of the Wild coming very soon. Hope you enjoyed this one. Bye for now.